So you're preparing for your first client meeting in real estate and you're wondering, what should you do to be able to make a great first impression? Stay tuned. In today's video, I'm covering my top 6 tips on how to prepare for your very first client meeting in real estate. First up is going to be, I want to just get this off the table. It is okay to not have all of the answers. This is something that I see new real estate agents struggle with regularly. And while I completely understand it's a little overwhelming when you're like, but I don't know all of these questions. I don't know how to help them exactly. What am I going to do? Get that out of your head, because at the end of the day, every single real estate agent was new at one point and didn't have all the answers. Here's the other thing. I've been doing this for over 16 years and I still don't have all the answers. It's okay to say, I don't know, and I will find out for you. So just embrace the learning curve, know that it's all part of the process, and you don't have to have all of the answers in order to simply start. Next is research and preparation, and let's start with sellers. First up, if you're going to be meeting with a seller, you want to make sure that you know the neighborhood and the surrounding area like the back of your hand. Knowledge gives you confidence, so you want to do your homework before you have this meeting. That means knowing what's active in the neighborhood, under contract, and what's recently sold. If it's an option for you, I recommend going and previewing any homes that are currently active in the neighborhood so that you can educate yourself on what they have to offer, and then you'll be able to point out key differences from those homes as compared to your seller's home. The other thing that you want to do when preparing to meet with a seller is research to see if there's anything coming to the area, any future developments, new schools, parks. Anything like that gives you an opportunity to showcase to the seller that you truly have local knowledge about the area that their home is located in. The next thing that you want to do when preparing to meet with the seller is have questions prepared that are open-ended. You can check out another video that I did in terms of asking questions. I have 20 questions in the video of what to ask on a listing appointment in order to win it every time. Listing appointments need to be about the seller, not about you. Now, I'm not saying that you aren't going to have to showcase what you can do for the seller in terms of marketing, but the way you're going to win listing appointments is knowledge on the neighborhood and knowledge about what the seller is looking to accomplish. Do they want to sell for top dollar? Do they want to sell as fast as they possibly can? Why are they selling? Asking these questions and being prepared is what's going to set you apart if they're interviewing other agents. Once you have the questions down that you plan on asking, make sure that you invest time in practicing asking those questions. If you have a friend that can help you with this, that's great, but you really don't need anyone to be able to practice. You can sit in front of your mirror or your computer and ask these questions. Going through them ahead of time at least once, preferably 3 to 5 times for your first meeting, is again going to build your confidence, and it's also going to make you familiar with these questions. You'll reach a point in your real estate career where you've asked them so many times that you don't need practice anymore, but right now it's about preparing for your very first appointment and giving yourself that confidence that you at least have an idea of what you plan on asking and the order that you plan on asking it in. If you've done all of these steps and you still don't feel like you're confident enough to go on the listing appointment alone, consider taking a more experienced agent with you. There's absolutely nothing wrong as long as you let your seller know up front that you'll be bringing another agent with you. There's nothing wrong with getting someone to help you initially and then going from there and building on your skills. What matters the most is that you're showcasing to the sellers that you have the expertise and are the best person for the job to sell their home. Now let's move on to buyers. And with buyers, it really depends on how you want to approach it, whether it's a buyer consultation face-to-face or if it's on Zoom. Personally, I like to send my buyers a questionnaire. It's just a Google form ahead of time. That is our initial contact after we've agreed that we want to start a relationship of working together. I send them that form ahead of a Zoom meeting. And the reason for that is time is money. Everybody's time is valuable. So when I can get that information that I need ahead of time, that condenses the Zoom call to under an hour. And buyers really appreciate that because they're giving me the information I need to know in terms of what they're looking for. Do they have a home to sell? Have they already talked to a lender? What loan program are they going with? Are there any deal breakers in terms of a future home? All of that information is squared away ahead of time. So when we get on the phone or the Zoom call, I can already have properties cherry picked for them to say, hey, is this something that you would be interested in seeing? And that allows me to set structure for the meeting, because what buyers really need is to know what to expect from the process and how you run your business. I've learned over the years that failing to set those standards up front can mean being run into the ground as a buyer's agent, and nobody wants that. I am very direct with my buyers on that Zoom call of, these are the hours that I am going to be available. This is when you will not be able to get a hold of me. This is when I'm going to be available for showings. And what that does is establish that you're a professional. You are running a business here, and you are not just going to be popping up because they send you a text at 11:30 at night and catering to their needs. And you have to have the confidence in order to do that, because initially I absolutely did not have that confidence, and my life was chaos because I was constantly running around with buyers that some of which were quite serious, but they were not zoned in on what they needed to be looking for. So we ended up seeing way more houses than we really needed to. And that's the purpose of your buyer consultation. You want to know going into that consultation that you're going to be sharing with them how you operate as a real estate professional, that you're going to need time when they're interested in seeing a property in order to get the showing confirmed. It's going to have to be planned ahead in the majority of cases, and you want to be able to set those expectations. The other thing to accomplish in your buyer consultation is, if they are not already pre-approved, is getting them connected with one of your preferred lenders and explaining to them why it's not a good idea to go with a big bank, and here's why they should talk to one of your preferred lenders, and then offer them a few recommendations. During that consultation, you also want to prepare them for what to expect when you all actually head out to start touring homes. Explain to them that you will map a route out for them ahead of time and get all of the appointments confirmed ahead of time. Also explain to them that you'll be contacting agents to get more information about the property that isn't openly shared online, and whether or not it's still fully available. You want to showcase that behind the scenes, you're doing your due diligence for your clients constantly. And then when you've actually met with them and started showing homes, be sure during the process that you're asking questions in order to help them narrow a property down, or maybe eliminate properties altogether. I'm gonna say the same thing that I said about sellers for buyers. If you still feel nervous and like you just can't go on your first showings alone, or have your first buyer consultation alone, that's okay. Ask someone that you trust in the industry to come with you, to give you a confidence boost and know that you have a backup. The person coming with you on the listing appointment or the buyer consultation or the showings isn't there to run the show. They're simply there to give you support. Unless you want them to give you an example of what it's like to run a client meeting, but I recommend the reverse of that. You should shadow an experienced agent before you set that first client appointment, so that then you've already seen how it runs. Don't worry though about how to write a contract, or how to fill out a listing agreement, or how to enter a listing into the MLS. All of these admin tasks that come with the real estate business, you can figure that out on the fly. What you need to be focused on most when preparing for your first client meeting is building your own confidence. You also want to make sure that you're showing excitement and passion about what you're doing. Nobody wants to work with someone who isn't excited to help them. That's half the battle. Show your clients how much you care and that you're invested in their real estate experience and want it to be seamless. If you got some value from this video, please consider hitting that like button. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments below. And be sure to stay tuned. Next week, I'm going to be building off of this video and diving in how to create the perfect client experience. Until I see you on the next one, thanks for watching.